What is it that burns when you set fire to your farts?
You want someone to say methane, don't you?
I'll say it. Methane.
Oh, thank you, Andy. No, I really thought it was methane. Yes, everybody thinks it's methane. No, most human beings do not produce methane in their extrusions. It seems that we produce about 3 pints of wind a day. Released...
Pints?
Yes, pints. It's measured in pints. Released in 10 to 15 individual episodes.
You get a box set as well. It's
Oh, you can have a feature-length episode.
So, pyroflatulence is the practice of igniting these episodes, can lead to serious burns, so don't try it at home, everybody. But methane in the body results from microbes called methanogens, but only about a third of humans have methanogens among their gut flora. So no one knows exactly why. There appears to be genetically determined. And a 2009 study by Arizona State University showed that methane producers are more efficient at converting their undigested food into fat reserves, which, bluntly put, means fat people fart more. The major components of flatus... The major components are all odourless. The distinctive aroma is caused by skatol, indole and hydrogen sulfide. During the Great Plague of London, doctors recommended patients store their farts in a jar and then, when they were feeling unwell, smell them. And apparently this would help. Anyway, it's usually hydrogen, in fact, that's lit.
But as I always say, better out than in.
Definitely.
A bit like Simon Cowell in a lifeboat.
When is the present?
Oh, I'm not going to fall into that trap. Who's going to say it?
Well, it's not really a trap. It is a genuinely interesting question. I mean, there are different ways of trying to describe what the present might be, but let's talk about the present in terms of archaeology. Archaeologists actually have an acronym, BP, which means before present, and they can date the present. It's an exact date, January the 1st, 1950.
That's the present.
That, for archaeologists, and there's a very good reason for this, and you might be able to work it out. If you did, I'd be very impressed.
Is it plastics?
Not quite that.
Bakelite?
When archaeologists... No, archaeologists are interested in the distant past. And recently, in the last 100 or so years, certain techniques have enabled us to discover... I say us, I mean...
Carbon dating.
Carbon dating has allowed us to discover how old things are. Now, in the 1950s... Basically, they decided by January the 1st, 1950, we had so screwed up the atmosphere with nuclear testing that no carbon dating could be trusted after January the 1st, 1950. So that is known as the present.
See, these archaeologists need to learn a bit of physics, though. According to Einstein's theory of space and time,
yes,
which is our best theory of space and time, there's no such thing as a present moment which spans the universe, or indeed even the Earth, or in fact even two people moving relative to each other.
It is absurd to think of an event that might be happening now in a galaxy and me doing this as being simultaneous. That has no meaning cosmically, does it?
You can swap the order of them,
yes,
as long as they're not causally connected. I mean, we don't know how time works at a very fundamental level, actually.
But time's arrow. I mean, I actually got my head around that a bit.
Yeah.
Because you don't need maths. If you think that everything's going forward and as it does, it decays.
Yes.
So then you understand entropy.
Yes.
I just look, for instance, all you need is an analogy to make that's pertinent to you. So in my case, all relationships. And then you realise, of course, you've got that perfect 18 months, and then they're dead.
The second law of sexual dynamics.
Yes, that's how I, according to me, that's how I extrapolate.
To make it statistically significant, though, you have to have an awful lot of relationships.
Oh, I do. And they really do
That's
all
very well
the
put.
law of entropy.
Why shouldn't you drink on antibiotics?
Yes. Because that's what doctors say. All the time. Yeah, and operate machinery as well. Oh, and just heavy machinery. Any sort of machinery, that's fine. Sewing machine, do that.
Yep.
Operate a sewing machine off your tits, no, mate.
But not the space shuttle.
You can, really, can't you? Because they say, oh, you'd better not drink, but they just don't want you to have too much fun. It's like you can use a mobile phone at a petrol station.
When antibiotics arrived, it was mostly in the 1940s, and one of the first things that antibiotics was brilliant at was syphilis. And so they gave men with syphilis antibiotics, and the trouble was they'd still be infectious for the first week of taking the antibiotics. And so they would say to them, don't get drunk, don't drink, because basically keep your,
So
keep your trousers on.
Right.
It's tradition.
Yes.
I'm told when they give me antibiotics for my endless array of diseases, well, they say don't drink. They're just doing that for traditional...
There are some antibiotics. There's one, I think, is it called Flagyl, I think, which is like antabuse, which will make you vomit. Is really horrific. It doesn't stop the antibiotic working, it just makes you feel
So glad
awful.
you told me that, because I hate being in the pub and saying, no, I can't, I'm on antibiotics, I'm not.
No,
I think
I'll
that's
go,
great.
woo.
It's great that you say it's tradition, actually.
Yeah.
You're saying it's tradition. That's made me so much less likely to drink on antibiotics now.
Really?
Because
You are a traditional
if it's
fellow.
traditional, I'll go, well, that's fine.
Yes.
I respect tradition. I like these traditions. But we stop observing them, they'll disappear.
Yeah, but the trouble by that logic, you'll be dressed as a Morris dancer. That's not a good thing.
Well, we do all sorts of,
Yeah, no, good.
Christmas lunch, I wear a stupid paper hat that makes my scalp itch.
Yes,
And,
that's true.
And I wouldn't want to stop doing that just for a little reduction in scalp discomfort.
Well spoken. Very true. So, with, yes, a few specific exceptions, please ask your doctor. There is no general pharmacological reason not to mix antibiotics and alcohol.